let's dive into some 10 questions. I want to ask you guys get into this, and then we can sort of start wrapping up and tell people where they can find you, what gigs are coming up, and all that kind of stuff. So, what's your favorite Tom Petty? This is the worst question for any fan of any band, right? Favorite Tom Petty album if you absolutely could only pick one?
Me, Wildflowers.
Wildflowers. That's Wildflowers. Yeah. If I look at the breadth of what's happening in there and the maturity of it, I mean, I love Damn the Torpedoes. I love Full Moon Fever, but Wildflowers has more complex things going on, and that's probably where I come from.
I thought this would be a slam dunk too. I thought that everyone would say Wildflowers when I started this, started interviewing people, but it's the testament to the catalog that albums connect to people in different ways, right? So and the first album connects to a lot of people just because it was that first album they heard and it was brand new. It doesn't really sound like anything else. Like I said, it's got a bit of weird punk to it, but it's rock and roll. And then you got this blues thing in Breakdown. So everyone connects to music differently. I think that's the beauty of it. So Mudcrutch or Traveling Will. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But hold on. I will say secondarily, if I'm trying to, that's what people get to do, right? When they're on is I love She's the One. There are songs on She's the One that I really find are really, I love his cover of Asshole, the Beck song. I mean, that stuff I'm learning. I think there's several songs on that I go, wow. I mean, I'd like to play some of, Climb the Hill would be really fun to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of look towards the eclectic stuff. That's probably what I sort of tag onto for sure.
Yeah, man, if you could do if you could do the circus version of Walls live, because I don't think Tom ever did that full
with Lindsay singing.
With Lindsay singing.
You have a question on there about that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You do. Well, we'll have to. All right. Well, hold on. Let's walk through your question here.
You bet.
All right.
So Mudcrutch or Traveling Wilburys?
Wilburys, just because of the fact that of the band and what makes up of the band and Harrison and all those greats. And the songs are fun. ELO, I love the production. Jeff Lynne's in there. Mudcrutch though, I'm starting to learn to appreciate what they're about, and they're well written songs, and So, but for me, if I had to choose, Wilburys for me.
I guess I guess I would choose Wilburys as well. Though some of the production to me is too much. It's the Jeff Lynne, and I like Jeff Lynne, but it's Jeff Lynne. So I feel there's an element of Mudcrutch.
Unmistakable.
There's Mudcrutch has just got more roots to me of their style that I really like, and plus the stuff that Benmont does is so good. I really love what's happening on those two albums.
Yeah, man. Talk another musician's musician, Benmont Tench.
Yeah.
When you see lists, we all hate lists, but when you see lists of great rock keyboard players, he's never on there.
Right.
He is at the top table. Like that guy can play anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you know, for example, that he played the piano on Hurt that Johnny Cash covered?
Yeah.
Not many
played. They were the house band. They were the house band for that album. It's like what the.
He's on tons of records. Of different artists.
Yeah.
He played on most of Belladonna.
Yeah.
And he co-wrote on that album as well. Like, yeah, the guy's just prolific. And I was talking to Jeff Slate. I don't know if you've ever come across Jeff, but he's friends with Benmont. And he said that Benmont has got this party trick where, like back in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, where they'd sit around with Benmont at the piano and they'd just throw TV shows or movies at him and say, play the theme from that, and he'd just play it. And he's just got that weird sort of brain for that just sticks, and because he's such a good musician, he just knows where all the changes are. It's like, okay, well, and he was the guy who led the band with Dylan, right? Because Petty says that we didn't know all these songs, we didn't know all these, but Benmont knows them all, so we just watch Benmont and look for the cues.
Incredible artist. Incredible.
Definitely.
Okay, if you could join the Heartbreakers on stage for one song, what would it be, and would you play, sing? What would you want to do?
I'm a Beatles fan. For me, Into the Great Wide Open, and because of that, and I would play acoustic guitar, and I love the strumming of it. It has the same chord progression as "Cry Baby Cry" in a lot of the ways. King, here I'll show you.
I've never noticed that.
The descending.
King of Marigold was in the kitchen cooking breakfast. Then of course he goes to C, but
right.
And he waited till he finished high school.
Yeah.
So it's got that feel,
neat,
Beatley thing to me. So that's why that was my first audition song with these guys, because it was Beatles-ish to me, and I could really get behind that. and kind of know, oh, I'm comfortable here. So for me, it's the Wait Wide Open, and we extend that song at the end too with a big jam out, which is my favorite thing about this band.
Yeah.
We do song,
so. Right, that's right. Our take on that song is to do elements of what happened in the video, because they extended it to make it fit the video, and we sort of do that mixed with just our own stamp of, if we were in that moment, if we're in this moment of what would we do, what would maybe Tom do if he had the freedom to do it, and that's what we do.
What's your favorite?
Gosh,
curious to know, Django.
Yeah, what is my favorite? I mean, I would.
And what would you play?
What would I play? Actually, I would love to play Mystic Eyes, and I'd play bass. I love what happens in that song, the jam, and
wow.
To me, that's something, because I mean, everything else would be great to play, but
we've been trying to have the band do that song for a while.
Yeah, stuff off of that, some of that kind of live covers that they did, to me, are mind blowing.
Yeah,
that's one of them.
That, and the Fleetwood Mac song they always cover.
Oh
well,
yeah.
Oh well, so Mystic Eyes and Oh Well are the two that I would love to play bass on those. I'm constantly working on that, because those are to me, I would love to be playing on that, because their version of Oh Well, I really, versus any of the other ones I've heard, that's the way I like to hear it. That's the one.
And talk about a riff. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Yeah.
Peter Green was just a genius. Oh my god.
Yep.
Okay. Who would be your dream opening act at a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers concert?
I mean, dream in the fact, like, bands that aren't here anymore, or
anybody.
To me, Black Crowes opening up for Petty is
yes.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I just love those guys, and it's just, to me, it really works. Two super shows, rock and roll, gritty, real bluesy singer there, and then Petty's, and the big slam of Petty.
Right.
I've always said that if I could sound like anyone, if I could have anyone's voice, I'd have Chris Robinson's. Because I wouldn't want Freddie's, because that's too much responsibility. I love guys like Sammy Hagar and Chris Cornell, but you're kind of locked into a certain thing there. But Chris Robinson, that boy's got some.
Man. Yeah, he's got a style.
God, I don't even. I mean, I saw ZZ Top open for Petty. I've seen.
Oh wow!
I was there at that one.
Yeah.
When was that? What year was that?
2007 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, he played. I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl when Tom played the Hollywood Bowl as well. You saw it earlier
with you. We went. All the Petty Theft guys went backstage, and we met Ferroni at the time. Yeah, and we met the bass player.
Ron.
Yeah. He came out. We were just standing backstage. We had backstage passes, and he came out first, and he just came up to me and shook my hand. Yeah. Like, how you doing? I'm like, he has the softest hands too.
Yeah, because
my wife said too. She said he has the softest hands. I remember that. Really nice guy. Yeah. And then Ferroni came over with his cigar.
Yeah.
And at the time we hadn't met yet. Like, that was going to be like 5 years later. But it was kind of interesting that they came over to us. Yeah. We didn't say who we were, and we didn't want to say anything. But that was ZZ Top opening, I believe.
Yeah, we also saw
Stevie Nicks was there too.
Stevie Nicks was there. I saw Stevie Nicks play with Tom at Madison Square Garden. That was the first Madison Square Garden show I'd ever been to. That was fantastic. I guess trying to think of really outlandish different things. Probably something like Led Zeppelin, or somebody, just because selfishly, I've never seen Led Zeppelin, so then I'd get to see them. There we go.
Yeah. Would they show up? Would they be the opening up? That'd be a tough one to.
Hey, there was an era of music that was before my time, where it didn't matter what the bills were. It was just a collection of music,
like the Monkees and Hendrix.
Exactly,
it was a true thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that doesn't really happen that much these days. Hey,
no.
Those kind of cabaret showcase events, you don't really get them these days.
That was a Bill Graham
era.
Yeah,
so that was Bill.
All right, so who's your favorite band member? I'm assuming that your favorite band member is obviously Tom, but who is your favorite band member other than Tom?
Well, Ben Mott would be one of my choices, but if I had to really make the choice, because I've met him and have hung out with him, is Steve Ferroni. It has to be, and I'm a drummer too, actually, as well. So Steve Ferroni for me.
Yeah, I would probably. Where's my light? I would probably say, Howie. I would.
Wow.
I would love to, I mean, I loved how, like, I'm trying to
Yep.
sing like what Howie does. I'm trying to play bass between Howie and Ron, and I'm trying to sing like what Howie did. And it's not easy because Howie was an incredible musician at so many levels, and he multi-instrumentalist. I mean, just brilliant.
Producer, the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of love for Howie. And I mean, again, I think there's that sentimental thing there that because he was such a gentle soul.
Absolutely.
Completely crippled by this awful disease. And, there's sort of that sentimentality. So I get that. If you could get to see any Tom Petty concert from history, one that you weren't at, which one would you choose? And obviously, we've got a time travel device now. We can get you anywhere, any point in history.
Oh, well, wow. For me, I think the Gainesville Homecoming show, that 2017 or was it? I can't remember.
It was an early one. I mean,
it was early, but it was like he was definitely 2007, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Wherever they made the documentary too at that time.
Right.
That concert to me, just because of the love coming from him and coming back to Gainesville, and I just thought he put in extra. The whole band put an extra love into it for me.
And that version of Learning to Fly from that concert,
it's
just
yes,
exactly.
That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. So
like that thing where all your hair standing end. Every single time I watch that part of that show, it's just that kills me.
Gosh, I would say if one of the Fillmore shows. I would love to have been on a Fillmore show. I would like to put the Fillmore show where he plays that song I played for that old homecoming queen.
The ugly old homecoming queen.
Yeah, I think that song, which I saw when I saw the Dirty Knobs play before Tom passed, and I asked Mike, I said you should play that. We start playing that song again. He said, "Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll start. We'll start incorporating that in our Dirty Knobs." So
interesting.
I would love to. I'd love to see any of those Fillmore shows. I mean, they were just incredible.
I think the last one, if I'm going Fillmore, I think the last one, because they played like 3+ hours, they just wouldn't get off stage. They did like 9 encores or something stupid and just kept playing because they were having fun, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Fillmore.
Okay, so Django, you've already said that you like the Yellow Album, as we sort of tend to call it. She's the one. So Walls Circus or Walls Number 3, which is your favorite version of that song?
I love Lindsey Buckingham and the sound of his voice. So I mean, I like the Circus because of that. I like what Lindsey's doing in there. Not everybody does. They feel like maybe is overdone. And that's a great question. It's great that you asked that question because it's very much 2 different styles of something, and a very different kind of production. But I guess I'm a fan of Lindsey's voice and the context of that song.
Number 3 for me.
Number 3,
I'm the opposite. I think that Lindsey's stuff gets in the way of the song. Sorry.
So
I'm not a fan of the sorry, Lindsey, of solo Lindsey stuff.
Yeah.
So that's like, oh, here it is. But number 3 is tried to the song. And I love his demo version of it too.
Yeah.
I think it's on Wildflowers, right? Yeah. The double album.
Well, and my favorite version of that song is the one he does. There's the PBS soundstage special where he's got the black polo neck, and again that because it's so stripped back, but then you get Scott Thurston's harmonies are just absolutely out of this world. And the other thing I always miss on Circus is that harmonica. I love the harmonica solo in it. That's what makes the song good for me too. So cool.
Interesting, good to know.
But it's a neat thing too that and again, as musicians, you're always looking for different angles on things. It's kind of cool that they put 2 versions of that song on the same album. And they did the same thing with Angel Dream, obviously, because it shows you how different a song can be just by tweaking the tempo or by tweaking, maybe it's the key, or you change, it can make a song sound completely different just by tweaking that one little thing, which, non-musicians, I don't think tend to pick on that stuff quite as much, right? So,
right.
If you could pick any artist to cover any Tom Petty song, who would it be? And what song would they cover? And I'll tell you, this has thrown up some of my favorite answers in this whole bloody podcast experience.
Right? Why don't you go first?
No, you go first.
All right, this is going to sound really weird. Elvis Costello, because I'm a huge fan of his voice. And the song for me, because I like when Elvis does the real intimate Elvis voice, would be Wildflowers. Elvis Costello doing Wildflowers would be really cool.
That would be super neat. Yeah, I like that. I'm on board. I'm sold. Well, because Costello, which song was it? Because Tom always kind of tongue in cheek said that Elvis stole the ending for, I can't remember which song it is now. That's going to drive me nuts.
Oh.
Was it When the Time Comes? I was going to look at my, yeah. It's because there's a little riff in there that they play, and it's like, hey, they were playing on double bill,
Right.
So that one of those kind of things. And they said they heard this song on the radio, and I can't remember which Elvis Costello song it is. And Tom said, I know where he got that from. He borrowed that from us.
Oh, wow. Wow. Huh.
Huh.
Interesting.
All right, let's see. I'll say Beck doing Angel Dream, because I'm a huge Beck fan. And Beck did Sea Change, which is an incredible, very atmospheric album with very strong acoustic influences in it. So I could hear him doing Angel Dream.
Well, and he's one of those guys too who, if he's going to do a cover, he's going to change it.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
Absolutely.
360. He did Bowie Sound and Vision.
Yes.
And he did it in that sort of that 360 setup in the studio where he had musicians around. So you had him in the middle, then the audience, then more musicians, and then more audience. So it was this weird sort of dynamic where you get the sound coming in from different places, and it's just knockout. I mean, Beck's just a stud, right? Like that guy can play anything, really.
Yeah.
Beck doing Angel Dream, yeah. I would never thought of that, and now I want to hear it.
Yeah. See, there we go.
Good job, Django.
So this is a tough one too. What song would you most frequently recommend to people who don't know Tom's music? Now, I would the caveat here that someone else brought up said, if you know people who don't know Tom's music, you should probably just get rid of those people in your life. You don't need that kind of, that kind of nonsense. But what's your go-to song?
Well, to me, because the people that don't know Tom, I can't imagine, but I just put Free Fallin' because I think that kind of, that's Tom Petty to me. Sure. Even though I know Refugee, and for me, Free Fallin', and I think that someone that doesn't know that stuff should hear that song first. And how could you not like that song? I kind of iffy on that, but I just picked Free Fallin'.
All right, I guess I look at it differently. I mean, one, what I do find is there are people that go, "Oh, what is petty theft? You playing Tom Petty? What are Tom? Anyone who doesn't know." The reality is they do know the songs, they just don't get the connection.
Yeah.
So I would probably take something like Learning to Fly.
That's a good one too.
Because I think because Free Fallin' is a little more, it's almost overdone to some people, and it's about giving them that sort of even edge, and of that story of what Learning to Fly is. So I picked it.
It must be such a joy to perform those songs, because the pop hooks and the pop melodies in some of these songs are just incredible. And he had that weird thing where he could write a real heavy rocker or a sort of a weird thing like Spike or something like, Rocking Around With You, or these odd eclectic songs. But when he just wanted to write a pop song, no one did it better.
Yeah,
that's true.
So just to play those every night must be so much fun.
It's incredible. Well,
sing-alongs
are really amazing.
Yeah.
I think I love, to me, about the thing about being a musician is about getting inside the song when you play it. Not just trying to, and that's really where so now I've gotten so comfortable in the material and what we do live that I'm able to really think about what I'm doing and just experience it. And that's the joy of being a musician. And when you really when we hit the vocal harmonies the way really just right, and when everything just lines up, we do very like Adam and I do a lot of really interesting tight rhythm stuff that's happening underneath different things, stuff that we enjoy. Sometimes we find it on the fly and we go, let's do that again. Other times we're doing stuff that we've thought about ahead of time and we just keep doing it. And that to me is just it's amazing. That's the joy of performing on stage there. And I'm not, it's funny to me, 20 years in the same material and a lot of that, but I'm not tired of it. We still work on it.
Nothing's ending.
We play Learning to Fly. Better. Learning to Fly was one of our opening songs for a long time because it's a great song to sort of find our way, and we got comfortable. Yeah, and which also means it's that first song we do. Well, I still get chills. So Michael Pappenberg plays slide solo on that, and we extend it out and we do he takes it into another level. But every time he hits that slide solo, I still get the same kind of chills for many years. It's just I don't know. I can't even explain it anymore. But I love so still feeling that in playing this music is why I'm still doing it.
It's such a music nerd thing though too, right? It's like that one little, there can be, a song that can be like, it's a good song, whatever. But there's one bit in it that just just grabs you. And that when that slide comes in on that song, it's one of those moments. It's just so good, man. And I was thinking, so I'm covering Full Moon Fever now, and you talk about free falling down. And so again, we talked earlier about simplicity. This sounds really simple. When you listen to Full Moon Fever, there's a shit ton of guitar on that album, even though it doesn't sound like it. It's layered and layered and layered and layered, and there's like four parts, and it's just,
isn't it? Yeah.
So, you talk about like not everyone loves Jeff Lynne, but I think with Full Moon Fever, he definitely got
a lot of spokes, each song. And that's Beatles too, really, if you break down what they were about. So I think that Lynne was a huge fan of that and the production of George Martin and the Beatles. And so it's just nice to see a 3-chord song have things underneath there. Yeah. And the dissonance on that chord is here's another example, right? This is an E, but this, which is it's a sus and a third together.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the stuff you live for.
Yeah. And what a way to get a song too. I've got this weird little keyboard that Bugs White Elder wrote, the Warriors brought in. I don't know why have you bought this, and just start tinkering around and comes up with these words to make Jeff Lynne laugh.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then eventually it's like, actually, we can probably do something with this.
So, right.
Yeah.
And look at it.
Yeah, what a story.
One of his
biggest. Just incredibly cool.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Okay, so your last question in the 10 question section. Describe Tom Petty in 3 words.
Great American songwriter for me.
Wow.
Love it. Should be the Great American Song, but Great American Song.
To me, it's about this authentic and real sound. It's I don't even know if it's
that's 90 words.
Yeah, it's 90 words. There's a sincerity in it all. I don't even know if I could do it in 3 words. Yeah. How about that? I can't.
Can't do in no, that doesn't work either. I'm just trying to think how we can jimmy this in, but no, it is. Some of these questions are tough, right? Because we're talking about
the fun.
Yeah.
Well, and they throw up, like I said, they throw up conversations. But a great American songwriter, that's one that I tend to default back to quite often too, because it is about again, I think he's massively underrated as a singer, massively underrated as a rhythm guitarist.
Yeah.
Could also play drums. I mean, played drums on that whole bloody Highway Companion album, which
Saving Grace, right?
Yeah,
play everything, right? Played harmonica, did everything. Played piano and everything else. But at its heart, it's really when you deconstruct those songs and when you listen to other people cover them and when you listen to people interpret them, which I always like to an interpretation rather than cover, which I think is what you guys do as well, right? Is getting inside, like you said, getting inside the heart and the bones of it.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It shows that the songs are just so good and they're so rich and there's so much to mine there that, like you said, even after 20 years of you guys playing these songs, you're still finding things that you can change and things to get excited about. So what a gift that is,
What a gift. Absolutely. He'll be remembered. Those songs will be remembered for quite a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of that catalog is going to be around.
Absolutely.
Long before we are.
Yeah.